Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition. With me today is my voice of God, Michael, my producer. Hi, Michael.
Hello, Lisa. How are you?
I'm good. So, why do I have you on this show?
Because today, or this episode, is going to be the 50th episode that you've released.
Yes. And I told everybody that I was going to try to get you on one of my shows, even though you were completely against it. And I was like, you've been on my journey. He was the guy that put the first post. Actually, you did like the first three when I was like, and I had like a massive panic attack on the first and second one. Yep. And then I started to chill out. But you have been with me since the first episode dropped. So
it's been a wild ride.
I know. And we've also, we've even changed certain dynamics. Like now I'm not under one, umbrella. I'm under just on your umbrella.
Yep. Yeah. Which is really fun. I mean, to have that freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want. Like there's something really special about the way you do your podcast because there's no rules, which is kind of.
There isn't. I know, right? It's like uncensored, say what you want, talk about what you want, question me if you want. Like it's whatever you want to do on this podcast. But that's what I said, right? When I first started the podcast, and I remember you and I had this conversation, I was like, I just want a platform for trades and people to come on and have a conversation with me and talk about whatever the fuck they want. And you were like, that's really cool. I think you'll do really well. And I was like, I just want to do it for fun. Like it's never been a job for me to do. So I think that's the other part of it is like, and it's not knocking any of the podcasters that do this full time. I think, it's, to me, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a hard job, but it's because mine is so raw. When you're into it, in the thick of it, editing, AI, trends, this and that, it's a lot. But if I'm having a bad day, they get to see it. I'm like, this is not a bad fucking day.
Well, and that's a nice thing. Like, I'll be honest, I really like producing your podcast because I don't really have to do that much at all. So it makes,
really
makes
nice
my
way.
life really, really simple. And,
I know.
There's not a certain format. There's not like, hey, these are going to be your questions. Hey, this is the, nope. Let's just shoot the shit and see where it goes.
Right. And it was so funny because you always make me laugh when you're like, I'm going to have to do a shit ton of editing. I'm like, no editing.
None. Please none.
And you're like, but like Buddy's dogs came in and his kids came in. I'm like, that's fucking real life. That's what it is to be a person. That's what it is to be a parent, a trades worker, an entrepreneur. That's what it is. Like you're going to get constant interruptions from whoever. I mean, like, do you remember the one episode when I was talking with Bradley Scott from the property management firm? Did you see it? I think you might have seen that one where I had to stop because my kids were coming through the door and I couldn't figure, I had like totally spaced and forgot it was a Friday. So I'm like, at my door.
It's here.
Coming through the door. And I had to I'm like, hang on. And I'm like, crisis diverted.
Like, where's my baseball bat? This is what's going to happen. Do I need to bring the camera with me?
I mean, I can't bring the camera with me. I mean, you guys would probably all hear it, but I mean, like, it wouldn't be me screaming.
I'm prepared for this. I've prepared.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So you and I are doing a lot of different things together. With you being out in Ontario and me being in Alberta, I keep bugging you. I'm like, you should just come to Alberta since you're like half of these crazy people out here,
Everywhere seems to be crazy these days. I don't think there's a good landing spot anywhere.
It's not wrong, but you and I have always agreed that because we agree to disagree on a lot of different things, which is funny because that's my safe word on my podcast.
Yes.
But because we agree to disagree on so many things, but we still can come together and have the conversations and take perspective from each other, regardless of whether we agree with it or not. We respect each other's communications and understanding on each topic. So that's kind of a fun thing.
Yep.
But now you and I are not only doing the podcasting, but you're launching my new website that's coming out.
Yes.
So I think it's really cool what you've done. So for all the people out there, tell them kind of what you did that was so different, because from the way you've explained my website to me, it's that I'm probably going to be the first gen of my industry to be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the home services space, most people build like a Wix website or just some sort of templated website. So this is actually more of a web app build. So like we might build more on the back end. So maybe that goes into some of that future development stuff, but it's future proofing you. So everybody right now is really struggling with how SEO is working, AEO or GMO or whatever they're wanting to call it, for basically how to communicate your website to AI. So there's this real kind of like fun race on that. And that's using things like JSON-LD, which is basically a code way of talking with your website. So when an AI goes flying by, it's able to do this type of stuff, developing the right schema, making sure that you have Google rich stuff on there. So you're basically talking about the founder, you're talking about all the documents, you're answering questions. And there's another element that really, really is important is your EEAT. And it's really a confusing way to say your experience, your expertise, your authority, and your trust. So that's done both at the website level and your engagement level. So you having a podcast in your social media is a great way to engage with people to say, hey, this is who I am, Lisa. This is what I do. These are the services I provide. And that's it. And, take it or leave it. And I love that type of approach. And so really winding that in and then just making it a fast and pleasant feel, right? I don't want it to feel pitchy. I want it to be more of a story, right? So, because I believe if you don't have a story, you don't have a business. I think so it's really, really important to develop that because it's not just about the product and the service. It's also about the connection between two individuals through a transaction.
I love that. So here's the fun thing. This is what I'm going to tell my listeners is that, so when I decided to redo my website, I talked to Michael 1,000 times about it when we were under the other umbrella. And he was like, we could probably do something. And I'd always had something in the back of my mind to take all of the knowledge in all the manuals that I've created for both safety and human resources, and actually put it so that it's available to all these different companies, kind of like in different areas of the globe. And so I had to do a lot of research. We looked into like the UK, we looked into Australia. I knew Canada was okay. We looked into some of the aspects for the States we knew was okay. But then, just being able to branch outside. And then I also looked in Scotland and I also looked at Ireland. And so those documents can translate to those areas, which was really cool. Because when I did my safety, I did it based off of what the ACSA core, how they wanted the documents written if you were going to be a higher standard, right? Because you're partners in reduction injury, can't even speak. So I did it to that. I tailored it to that. But I remember I told you, I was like, I'm going to go meet with a psychic online. And I know you're just like, oh God, here she goes. And I'm like, typical woman.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
And so, but I did. And I went and I met with, and I was really fascinated because I'd followed him for like 3 years. And so it was Jesse King online. And I finally got a reading with him and he was like, you have been postponing something you should be doing with your company. Every service you have, Lisa, should be made available to every person at the level you want it to be. So whatever you're stagnating, you need to stop and start doing it. And then I was like, we're doing this. You were like, you set up my GHL and you were like, put all your information here. Yeah, so there was like 2 weeks
have a place to work out through,
yeah,
your systems and processes will save you your time.
I know. So then I remember you got the GHL for me and you were like, put everything in here, go through your documents, make sure you're happy with them. And we did, I think we did 2 weeks. I know. And then right.
Wasn't expecting
like a lot.
Yeah.
I know. I just loaded like a shit ton and you were like, and I'm like, that's what it is. Like safety is not 10 pages.
Yep. Oh, it's 52 documents. Oh, okay.
What can I say? I'm feral.
After 20 something years in construction, I had no idea it was 52 documents. I wouldn't have had a clue.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's just for like your safe work practices, safe job procedures when you go down to it, right? And I don't even have all of them. Like I cater to a lot of like restoration and construction and remediation aspects, but other than and more in the renovation space, right? Because that's where I sit in the renovation space. So that's a lot where a lot of my documents are, but you're going to find stuff on like asbestos and mold and things like that. And like just the protocols and procedures for them. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I just got tired, and you and I had talked about this. We got tired of watching companies that were trying to start up or that had been around for a little while, but they were struggling and wanted to get to that next level. But it almost feels so unattainable because it's like the cost is just a burden to bring your website up to this amazing thing or to have the documents behind you to make sure your company is running a little bit more, smoothly. Yep. And so you and I we were on the same page about that. So that's one of the reasons why you then, erected Dynamic AI Hub. I say erected in the space, right?
Perfect. Perfect. Can I edit that?
Yeah. No.
Not how my business operates. Just a little FYI.
All right.
I work for money.
I work I don't know. I mean, you could ask the girls out in Waterloo. You might not. But anyway, so when you brought in Dynamic AI Hub is when you started to focus more highly. You'd always focused on the community aspect. That's
Yeah.
just a given with you. But you started to focus on giving something to people that was more affordable.
It's
And giving them
exhausting to watch the how people take advantage of new business or emerging business.
right.
So it's like, hey, I can get you to the next level. I can 10x your game. I can do all this stuff. Buy my course, get my book, get my software, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, everything costs so damn much. Why?
Right.
Why? Why not go, hey, I will do it at a lower price and we're going to work the relationship between you and I. And then you become a referral partner, which is going to double, triple, quadruple, 10x my business. Well, you're getting a good thing. So I'm not going to say, yeah, I can promise you the world and you're going to grow here and you're going to grow there. Because if that were true, I would do it for percentage. I wouldn't charge you a monthly fee. Because if I could truly take your business and do that, then I will say, okay, yes, I can do that with you, but I'm going to do it on percentage, strictly percentage, which I'm doing with some businesses now. So you don't pay me. We go into business together. And literally, I just go and provide. So I'm taking the first step. I'm not asking you to take the first step. I take the first step. And I think there's a better accountability in that.
I agree. By the way, just so I can sidebar this real quick, I love that you're wearing your Punisher hat.
Yeah. It's appropriate to these days.
It's appropriate. You're so funny. So way back when I was a boss, not a leader, a boss, I used to wear the Punisher shirt when I was going to fire people. So all the staff knew somebody was getting fired.
Yeah, talk back. Go ahead. Talk back.
Say something stupid.
Well, no one wants to cry in front of their Punisher either. You're just like, oh, hold strong.
Isn't that
Hold strong.
It's fucking sick, Michael. It's fucking sick.
You have to think about
Show
these
you
things.
work in the Punisher shirt and somebody knows they're getting fucking fired.
I mean, it's a great way to get the work done on Monday that you need all week. You're like, you just wear it all week. You're like, listen, today could be your day. Today could be your day.
Today could be your day.
Keep them on their toes.
Horrible. No. Fucking horrible. Now I don't do that. I do think it's funny. Like, I mean, it's sick, but it's funny when I think about it. I mean, some people might be like, you're an asshole, Lisa. Accurate.
That's
but,
okay.
I mean, can't please everybody.
You have to, sometimes, I think you have to be a little bit of a jerk to fire people and also still be understanding about their feelings at the same time. It's a real fine dance. Depends on who you're dealing with.
A fine dance. And I'm going to tell you, it's not an easy thing to do a parting of ways. Because what happens is you get people who are too, like, they're too emotionally involved. I can't fire her. She has a kid and she's a single mom. And I don't give a shit. She didn't think about that when she didn't show up for 3 days and didn't have a proper excuse. Like, I'm sorry. Like, go sell crazy somewhere else. Like, fuck, we're all stocked up here. So, and it's like the same thing. Like, I can't fire him. He's been working his ass off and he's really trying. And I'm like, okay, well, drinking and driving and taking the company truck home is not a fucking okay thumbs up kind of thing. We're not like, you don't forgive that. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't have a whole lot of patience in the sense of why is it our job to think about you when you didn't?
Well, and employees will have no quips or qualms if they find another job to say, screw you, see you later. No, the majority of the time. Now, granted, there are employees who are like, you know what, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks. If you need some more time, I've got another job coming up. But it's usually safer just to cut it and just be like, I'll pay you the 2 weeks, but you don't have to come in.
But then you got to ask yourself, why do people leave jobs? In the trades right now, you worked in the trades. Yep. I work in the trades. Why do people leave jobs? You and I both know the answer to this. It's one of two reasons. It's compensation or bullshit management.
Or the illusion of grass is greener on the other side because you weren't watering where you were.
Good point.
Right. So it's I'm not really invested in where I am, but I expect the world because Jimmy gets the world. But you don't know that Jimmy's having phone calls with the boss every night, giving them updates, sending off emails, doing all that kind of stuff. You just don't see it. You see Jimmy swinging a hammer, you swing a hammer, and you go, hey, Jimmy makes 45, I make 20. Why don't I make 45?
Yeah.
Jimmy's doing a lot of other stuff. You go home and you go do what you do. Jimmy's still doing other stuff. You don't know.
But that's one of the big reasons why in human resources we say don't share your compensation packages.
No, that's
why
poison.
we say that.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's like, oh, I make this and I make that, and fuck you, you can't tell me what to do. Asshole, I'm telling you for your own good. You're going to hurt your own fucking feelings by asking fucking Bobby what he makes when he probably makes $20 more than you, but he's doing 20% more than you.
Yep.
Right? I know some women on sites that actually make more money than some of their counterparts because they're so good at their job.
Yeah, that's all it should be.
And so they can do the same amount of work for half the time or a quarter of the time it takes their counterpart. And they actually get compensated more, and let them find out. And oh God, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And they're like,
well, because it's easy to complain going, well, it's because she's a woman. No, she's just better than you. Right? Like,
bingo.
It's okay. Some people are going to be better at other things than other people, right? Like, maybe this isn't your forte. Maybe you're not even in the right industry. Maybe you shouldn't be a carpenter. Maybe you'd be a better plumber. Have you ever tried plumbing? Who knows? Like, having done so many different fields, right? I think I was pretty good at most of it. So I like to think and my compensation was usually reflective of that. But I mean, you always want more. So, which is why you end up working for yourself. And that's usually what really, really good people do, is they'll go out on their own, which is it's still a recommended thing. Like, don't be an employee, be a subcontractor. Hey, it's better for taxes. You're in a little bit more control. The conversation dynamic's a little bit different, but your accountability is higher. Your accountability is a lot higher. It's 100%.
Yeah. Well, and that's true. I mean, being an entrepreneur, being a contractor is not for the faint of heart. The lines get too skewed on certain aspects when people want you to represent their company and their brand, but then want to pay you as a contractor. Government doesn't like that. We know that. And then you'll be like, go talk to Kevin. You'll be like,
I will.
I know you. And then I'll be like, by the way, I sent him an email, FYI.
Good.
Just to let you know.
Good.
So for all of you that are like, who's Kevin? We'll be like, well, you'll have to hit up Michael and find out, or ask me. Send me an email.
Phone it in. You got email Lisa.
Right? Yeah. Lisa at lpmenterprises.net. Mm-hmm. Or hit me up on TikTok.
Yeah, that's my TikToks.
Yeah, I know. I got a lot of foot traffic.
Drop into the DMs. I can't even say it. That sounds so stupid when I say it. Like, I'm not young enough. I'm not cool enough to be saying these things.
No, we need to stick to our own lingo.
Yeah.
We're the same age, so we need to stick to our own.
Call me on my rotary telephone.
Right?
Call me on my home line. That's right.
My landline?
A landline. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I think there's certain things that I kept from like the 80s and 90s, but not a whole lot. Like I can honestly tell you, do you know what? I still have an iPod.
What?
Like the little iPod touches. I kept it. You know what I should have kept? A Tamagotchi.
It's probably a collector's item. People collect the weirdest things.
I was just looking like, do you know what my problem is I'm one of those people that I can't handle clutter. So I'm like, if you haven't used it in 3 months, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a clutter box. When the clutter box gets full, I don't even go through it. I just throw it out. I mean,
but then you know what happens?
Granted, if there looks like some useful stuff, then I'll take it down and I'll donate it. But if at the top doesn't look like it's useful stuff, it goes trash.
Or what happens is like 2 months later, you're like, shit, I needed that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Amazon will have it here tomorrow.
Right? That's
a terrible thing to say, because I definitely prefer to shop local. But the problem is local business is dying. I mean, it's really hard to buy local now.
It's hard. And, you know, and I hate to say it, but that's all of our faults.
It is. Yep.
You know, we didn't shop local. We wanted the you know, kind of like the bigger is better, right? Yep. You get more shit for less amount, but is it quality? Is it handmade? Do you understand how many hours went into it? Which is why Etsy came about. Did you see on Etsy that this woman is like, this old lady is creating alligator Alcatraz shirts? And like, I'm like, fucking Michael would be like, good for her. That's an entrepreneurial move. And I'd be like, fuck her.
That's why they have elections. People get to pick. And I mean, generally speaking, it's usually pretty close down the middle. So, I mean, you and I sit on opposite sides of the political spectrum, and we're totally okay with it. And that's what people need to understand. It doesn't matter who you vote for. That doesn't define who you are. That's just a ballot you cast one day that took 10 seconds to do.
I know. And do you remember when I got all caught up in it and I was having a fucking moment and I like went and yelled at the other half and I had to come and like sheepishly tell you how much of a dick I was to him. And you were like, "You're so mean to him." And I'm like, "I know."
Yeah, I am.
But
I am.
yeah, but I had to apologize. And then it's funny because I remember you and I had these conversations because I'm always having conversations with my significant and he says to me, "I'll tell you where you screwed me up when we first got together. You apologized and you took accountability. Totally fucked me up. Wasn't sure if you were maybe a he." And I was like, "What?"
It kind of throws me for a loop. Although I've been lucky even with the women in the past in my life. They've been all great women.
Right? That's good.
And just the relationship didn't work out for whatever reason.
Yeah. Shit happens.
Right?
Sometimes they're just not your person. Yeah. Sometimes they're just not your person. And sometimes you just need a fucking break. Like you just need a break from each other to reevaluate what's important. Think about what the relationship does mean to you because sometimes you don't realize that there has been changes made until that person's not there anymore in your life. And you're sitting there going like, you know what? There was a lot of things that this person did and they did genuinely give a shit. And I really give a shit about them, but maybe I took them for granted a little bit, or maybe they took me for granted. Maybe we need to have this conversation. And you and I talk about that. It's communication.
All the time.
Like people have to talk to each other. Like, and even me talking to my other half and saying, Michael and I talk all the time. And it's because to me, I need to build that rapport so that I know you can call me out on my shit.
Right.
And because I'm one of those people that needs a fucking sledgehammer. Can't be like, Lisa, don't call me that. I'm going to be like, yeah, right out of my head. But if you're like, listen, bitch.
I'm not really good at tiptoeing
Get in your fucking lane. And I'm like, oh.
I am terrible at tiptoeing. And I've gotten called out on it a lot. We're like, you can't say that kind of stuff. I just did.
But you were tiptoeing with me for the first little bit. And then all of a sudden I was like, you need to just like be straight with me. Like stop fucking sugarcoating shit. And you were like, okay, well, your fucking podcast is called Devil's Advocate. So stop being so fucking nice.
Be a fucking devil's advocate. It's actually interesting. Like talking about like just even in the short period, like we've been talking for what, 20 something minutes, is when you look at it from relationships to political to work, there seems to be a consistent theme of too much noise, too much chatter, too much confusion. That, I just need a break. So I need a break from my job. I need a break from talking politically. I need a break from my relationship. Turn off the rest of the noise, people. Set down your phones after listening to this podcast. Set down your phones. Walk away. Go to your own brain for a minute and really sit with yourself, not with what you just see and hear, which is just so much.
It's heavy.
But it runs the same thing. And these are all relationships, whether it be, your relationship when you're talking politically, your relationship at work with your boss or your coworkers and a potential new position, right? Your relationship with your significant other, which is also a new position, meeting somebody else, right? Like all these things, it's all the same. It's all the same. Take a second, unplug, go read a book.
Relationships are relationships. I love that you said that, Michael, because it's fucking true. And I do that a lot where I will put my phone on the charger upstairs in my room and I will go downstairs and I will completely forget about it and I'll put it on silent so I don't hear the ding, ding, ding. And I will just do me. I'll watch TV. I'll sit outside with my kids. I'll make dinner. I'll whatever, right? Hang out with my dog, go for a walk, whatever the case may be. And I find that all of a sudden I realize, like, after a few hours have passed and all of a sudden, you get that little bug where you're like, oh, where's my phone? And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's upstairs. I put it there for a reason. And then I just continue on with my evening. To me, like nothing is that urgent that you have to have your phone stuck to your hip. Like we are all addicted to our phones, to a way of communication. Do you remember when we were kids? We just didn't answer the phone.
I didn't have one. When I was out, there wasn't a phone. Right, you come back sometime between sunset and you feel like it's too late.
No, that's what I'm saying. When you would get home after school, if you didn't want to take a call, you just didn't answer the phone. And then, like, how long was it before we got fucking call waiting? Like that wasn't even a thing. Yeah. So if your mom or dad or brothers or sisters were on the phone, you got the busy signal.
Yeah.
Like kids today don't even know what that sounds like.
You wanted to find out what your friends were doing? You walked to their house or hopped on a bike and went over to the house and knocked on the door and said, hey, Jimmy, going back to Jimmy. Apparently I know a Jimmy. I don't know a Jimmy. So just so you know, there's no Jimmy that I'm shouting out on this. But you go over to Jimmy. Hey, is Jimmy home? No, Jimmy's not home. Oh, where's Jimmy? Oh, he's at the park, I think.
Gone to the park.
Like, you don't know. Remember, we grew up with the news saying like it's 10 or it's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? They
And
had to
10
remind the
p.m.
parents to be like, hey, you have children. You should probably identify where they are.
Yeah. Where are your fucking feral offspring?
Yeah. You hear an awful lot of chatter about all the other generations, but Gen X, no one really talks about them because it's probably safer that way.
It is. Well, we don't even care. Half of us don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, I listen, like, I watch these people and they're like, we need to cancel Gen X. I'm like, you do you, boo.
Yeah, good luck.
You do you. You know what? You and your cancel culture, you just do whatever you'd like to do. You cry about whatever.
Yeah.
But if a Gen X has a genuine problem, they have a lot more of attention from around the generations.
Mm.
Z is kind of like, or Z is kind of like the only generation that's kind of like, fuck everybody. I will tell you that the emerging generation that's coming, which is Gen Alpha, is going to be a cross between Gen Z and Gen X. They are zero fucks given. Like the shit that comes out of my kids are both, my daughter is like beginning of Gen Alpha and my son is, I think she's beginning of Gen Alpha. I don't remember. I'll have to look. Anyway, my son is definitely Gen Alpha. And yes, 100%. Like zero fucks given. I love you. I will be super compassionate. I will be helpful. I will be thoughtful, but fuck with me, please. Allow me to remind you who you are and who I am.
Mm.
And I'm just like, ooh. And like, there's a part of me that's like proud and a little bit fearful, not for me, but for everybody else. Because I mean, like, the old saying, like, they give you attitude till they realize where they got it from.
Yeah.
Like the pro. Like my son will say shit to me and all I gotta do is shoot like one of them crazy eyed looks. And he's just like, I'm sorry, mama. I feel like I will have that.
Fucked up. It came out of my mouth.
I feel like I will have that fucking power on well into when he's an adult. Like he'll be 40 and I'll shoot a look and he'll be like, I'm sorry, mama.
Well, we talked about this the other day, right? Where it's like, when do you stop being the kid?
Right? I don't think you really ever do.
I don't think you ever really do. I think no. As parents, we're still, well, I'm not a parent, but as parents, I feel that people are still just kind of making it up as they go along. Right? Like you have a general idea, but at the end of the day, you're still a kid. You never stop being a kid. And which can be a good thing, keeping your curiosity up and engagement up. But also your parents looking at you like, well, you should do this. You're like, well, maybe.
We're also part of a generation, Michael, and I bet you there's tons of them out there that will agree this because we're right on the tail end of X. So I always like to call myself an Xennial because I've got the best of both worlds for the Gen X and the Millennial. But
there's a best part of Millennial.
There's what?
There's a best part of Millennial.
There is good parts of being a Millennial, right? It's the next generation.
I'm just kidding. I don't knock any.
I was going to say what you do anyway. But no, I think that like, I don't know about you, but I know for me, and I know there's a lot of us out there where our parents, it's like they've stopped seeing us. Like there was an age that we hit and that's the age forever. Mm. Like my mom, I love her to death, but I feel like she sees me as the same angry 16-year-old. Like, I think that that's what she sees the most. There are moments when she sees the emerging, beautiful and intelligent mother I've become. And then there are moments where she's just like, fuck. And I can't get, and like, she'll say things to me and I'm like, do I look 16 to you? Like, I'm not that same person. Like, I'm well past 16.
Well, the question is, as a parent, as your kids get older, what's going to be your memory when you get to that point? Where you're like, what's the memory that you hold on to as them as a child to now when you're dealing with them as an adult? I think you're right in that. Like there's something that there's a catalyst moment that they hold on to as being a youngster at whatever that age is. The youngster might be the 25 version of you, right? It might be the 12.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I think they just, idea. That's they pick an age. And like, if you ever watch your parents and you're like, God, why are they like this? And then you think about the age where this was very where it was prominent. And you're like, oh, they still think I'm 21. They still treat me like I'm 18. You know what I mean? Or whatever age it was. Like for me, I think my favorite age for my children, but I'll never treat them like that. I haven't was, like when they were babies. So I think it has to be a traumatic age. So maybe my son will be forever 12. I don't know.
Maybe.
Shit.
Could get better now. Could get worse later. Who knows?
He'll be like, Mama, I'm nice. I'll be like, you run around saying the N-word.
Not now.
And you're not. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I utilize all that terminology and I don't look at it as an oppressive type of terminology. Some people do. Um, but I like to tell my son, I'm like, honey, I realize that I call you that, but you don't have enough melanin in your skin to be screaming that. Like, we need to calm down. But then I started noticing that his, like, Gen Alpha, they all say it. They are all running around screaming the N word.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I don't know if that's a music thing or something, where it's so prevalent in music that it's becoming common speech, which I think is a little dangerous.
but it was with us too. We grew up to NWA, Snoop Dogg, Pac, all of them, and they all used it. And you would see, like,
at the same level. I don't think in the same volume, like repetition in music.
Where I've heard one where
it's like they'll say it like 20 times in a row. There's no other lyric in the song. You're like,
oh no.
You're like, how is this music? And B, are you monetizing off of a racial slur?
I don't know. All I know is that, like, my kids, it seems to be a word, and I've always been after them about it. I'm always like, guys, it's not an appropriate word. Like, you got to make sure the context you're using it in makes sense, and especially you have to mind your audience.
Yeah.
So you can't be out at the grocery store calling each other the N-word or calling your friends the N-word or saying it out loud. I'm like, if I'm being honest with you, I said, I grew up in a generation where that was a very oppressive term and you shouldn't be saying it. It was utilized by the Blacks that were singing because it was an oppression and they were taking that word back.
Yep.
And putting power into it by saying, we can call each other that because we don't slave each other. And some of them even do. Like, did you see the Chris Rock series when he's like, some of these guys are? you know, you live around them.
Big celebrity guy at all.
It's so funny. So he's a comic and he's hilarious. And he was talking about it. And he's like, you can't be around, and it's like the NIGGA version. Okay. It's like, you're around those if you, when you can't bring a TV into your house at a regular time, like you got to bring that shit in at like 3 a.m, and then you got to get rid of the box and the evidence, And I'm like, so to me, it's funny because their culture, their people went through so much. Right. So, I mean, them having a word, who cares? Like, it's like, in my culture, the word is coolie. It means the same thing. Right. But you don't hear that as much. Yeah, coolie. So because I'm Caribbean. So if you are in Toronto and you scream out, so coolie is a Caribbean term for the Indian side of it, right? Okay. So if you see an Indian Caribbean and you call them coolie, you might get killed. Just say, maybe don't say it. So
I mean, I've never heard it. So if I say it now, it'll be your fault. Well, I got your fault insurance.
Listen, your fault insurance. Yeah. So funny story though, while we were going to talk about this, because I was like, I can't even talk. A podcast was supposed to launch Wednesday because we launch every Wednesday, and you had it all booked up for Adam to come on.
Yes.
And it didn't launch.
Sorry, Adam.
And I gave you shit and I was like, voice of God fucked up again. And you were like, I was like, no, I had it all booked up.
For sure. I had to do some, I actually had to do some editing on that one.
I know you did.
And so I was like, I remember.
Well, that was by the request, right? Yep. Of the client or the guest. So, which is totally no problem. And then, and then we tried it again this morning. Cause I remember you're like, nope. And then you were loading it with my other guest that's coming on, which is Rob. Yes. So you're loading it with him too. And I'm like, but then again, it shouldn't have been Adam that was launching it. Shouldn't it have been Derek? Was Derek before Adam?
Adam, Derek, then Rob.
Okay. And so then I was like, in my brain, I'm like, way to screw this up. Cause you went to a networking lunch today and I was like texting you and I'm like, it's still not dropped.
Yeah, I got out of the house. It was amazing.
Right? I know. You're like a hobbit. Yeah. And so
well, I'd say hermit rather than hobbit. I'm not that short, nor are my feet that hairy.
Listen, I wasn't talking about your description. I was just saying, because you hang out.
It's still hermit. It's not hobbit.
You're right.
Hobbits still go out. I mean, they went all the way to the mountain. They went all the way to the mountain. That's a far distance outside.
Maybe like a Schmeagle.
Maybe. Yeah.
Where you're standing by your computer, my precious.
It's my precious.
So something inside me was like, count your fucking podcasts, Lisa.
Right.
And I started counting my podcasts. And I was like, oh shit, if that one had launched, that would have been the 50th. So it's almost like the universe saved your ass and was like, you're not launching because we're like creating this little glitch because the 50th episode is supposed to be you and I,
Yeah.
and that's right now. So this one will be launched right away. So this will go out today, correct?
Yeah, sure. If
So
you
what are
want,
we
yeah.
today?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want
it's
to put it out
Thursday the
today? You want to put it
17th.
out in the morning? It doesn't matter. It's up to you.
Today.
Today.
Just launch it today, and then whoever's coming in the morning will see that there's a new one.
Yeah.
And those who are on the drive home can listen to our fucking shenanigans.
Nah. Should they choose? You can feel free to avoid this one.
Whatever you
Or
need
not.
to do.
Or not.
Right? So I'm excited. I mean, like, there's so many things that we're gonna do. I know we talked about doing an app too for my website.
Yeah.
Eventually, at some point, might be something that we look at because you and I, both being in trades, both understanding like boots on the ground, what their concerns are, what the owners need, but more so what the employees on the ground need because they're the ones that are dealing with these applications on the ground.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them. There's so many. I mean, I get calls all the fucking time. Look at my app, look at my app, look at my app. And I do. And there's some really great apps out there. And I'll be honest with you, I just want like, there needs to be an application that is like almost easy. And then you and I talked about like having an app that like could tell you to fuck off. But you were like, yeah, we can't do that.
I mean, you can make that an option for the employer, but I mean, if they're going to have an HR department, I mean, back in our day, yes. In modern day construction, no. And this is where construction companies really need to level up their accountability, transparency, honesty, and accessibility. And if they're not doing those things, they're going to start losing people because the younger generation coming in does have a very different expectation on how they're treated. I mean, you talked about this with, I think it was John, right?
I think so. Yep.
Like with, in his roofing company where he was talking about like the way we talk to the tradespeople now. Like it used to be like, like, listen, you fall off the roof, you're fired before you hit the ground. Like that was a funny joke. Also a very real threat back then.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now
I know.
It's tie off. Like just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
We do the training. We have our safety talks. You got to do this kind of stuff and have that real accountability where you can't half-ass it anymore.
No, you can't. But that's the problem is that people are half-assing it because it's all comes down to lead by example. Mm-hmm. And their example is their foreman, their construction managers, all of those guys are still in the headspace of fuck safety. And if you don't have an owner, like the guy, like those big construction companies, the PCLs, the Ellisons, those big boys are the ones that are doing all of it. They're implementing it. They're ensuring all the safety is there. And you can be a large construction company or a medium-sized company or a small company and have all of the things that you need for safety and preach it. But if you don't believe it and you think it's a fucking nuisance and you think it's a waste of time and you think it's a waste of money, that breeds. You've poisoned your own well.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen with the old guys. And I think if you did a real profit and loss analysis on some of your quote unquote best guys or highest paying guys, the people who've been around there forever, they're actually chances are losing you money. They're losing you money on, retention of current employees, proper training to get those employees brought up the right way, because they're just focused on like, I'm the leader, I'm the guy, and you're just like, but the new guys are coming in going, well, I want to learn, or I went to school, right? A lot of these like older journeymen, there was no school, there's no education behind it. They just did it. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but these younger people are coming in who've got all this training, right? Who've got all this safety stuff, who've got all this understanding. Mm-hmm. They can actually understand more than just their socketed trade. They're actually able to look at a job site. They're able to look at prints. They're able to do this type of stuff. Utilize that. Take advantage of that. Foster it. Grow it. And that's where your best guy should be, is making sure that everyone else below them is quickly coming up the ladder in a safe way at a 1-to-4 leaning ratio.
Well, and we also talked about that a lot of these guys that are trying to train them that are maybe not as safety conscious, but understand the rules and regulations, but understand the skill of the trade. Yep. So they're like, listen, you want safety, go to the safety officer. You want to understand what I do and how I do it and why I do it, then come talk to me. But a lot of those guys are getting burnt out, right? Because they're getting sick and tired of like the new guy, right? Or the new girl. It's always like there's so much, like there's always a new person to train. And it's not like the office got a hold of them and gave them the orientation and they understand what's happening,
Right.
it's just shot off to them and they're like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do with someone who's super green? And then half of them pad their fucking resumes, and then these guys are like, what? Why are you here?
Mm.
You don't know what a capillary is. You don't know, like you don't know what, like, how much moisture is supposed to be in this wood. Like you don't know how to work a thermocam. Like you
Nothing.
know what I mean? So things that they're saying they can do, and then it's like, what? Why are you standing in front of me? I'm supposed to train you. This is what's happening. They're not utilizing their voices and saying, what did this person's resume say? Because I think that if you're going to put someone under somebody else's management or supervision, they need to be part of that interview process.
100%. 100%.
Right?
Yeah. So one of your episodes that's coming up with Rob, he actually talks about that as well, is building leaders, not just having great employees, but building leaders inside your company. Right?
Absolutely.
Which means include them in the process. Make them a decision maker, empower them to do it. And if they're making a bad decision, because sometimes there'll be, maybe some selfish aspects where they're like, oh, I don't like that person, or I don't think that person's going to quite jive with me. You're like, that's fine. They're still really good at what they're doing. And as a leader, you need to accept that you're not going to like everybody, and you're still obligated to do your job.
And not only that, but as a leader, if someone says, I want your job, you encourage them to come take it.
Oh, 100%.
And you give them all of the tools to come take it.
If you're really good at what you're doing, you shouldn't be scared of it anyway.
Right? And not only that, but I mean, like, at some point you're going to want to do something different, right? Yeah. Who better than the person that you helped groom to put you in the role that you're going to walk away from, or move laterally with, or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah. It's everybody wants to pull up the ladder, right? Mm-hmm. That's their job security. No one can replace me. Let's be honest, people. Everyone's replaceable. Everyone is replaceable.
Every relationship is replaceable. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter where it is.
Friendships, romantic relationships, everybody's replaceable.
Yep.
The only person that's not replaceable in your own life is you.
Yep.
You need you.
That's it.
I always tell people, I'm always
go ahead and start replacing people in your relationships.
No. Well, I mean, unless they need to, you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Listen, if you're driving home and you're like if you're driving home and you're thinking to yourself, should I break up with my boyfriend, or is it worth my time? Maybe this is your sign. Maybe this is the sign to tell you to maybe,
Oh God.
It's like, shut the fuck up.
Live your best life, queen. Live your best life, queen. Live your best life, king. Live your best life, king. No, you know what?
What is
Open up the doors of communication, have a real honest conversation, and hopefully you can find some resolution. Everyone's replaceable, but that also means that nobody's also disposable.
No,
right? So don't just dispose of something. You can replace something, but then it has to be an educated decision.
But sometimes people need to just be by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
You and I have talked about this. Yeah. You and I actually very much enjoy our alone times. We've talked about that.
Oh, I'm comfortable.
You know what I mean? Where you're like, I just do nothing. I'll go down to like the pub and get myself a beer. And I'm like, I sit on the couch and binge watch my Netflix SWAT.
I can just stop. I go to my nothing box. I can just stop, stare at the wall, and think about nothing. Literally nothing.
Okay. Well, I'm a woman, so we don't have a nothing box. I understand that you guys have nothing boxes. Yeah. It's a fucking thing, ladies. They have a nothing box. It is a legitimate fucking thing. I know they tell you when they say nothing, it legitimately is nothing.
Oh, you're thinking of something. I'm only
like,
thinking
no,
about
most
what
women
my
do.
answer
Most women are like,
be to avoid the rest of this question and answer period.
Like, it's so funny, like to watch my other half when I'm like, what are you thinking about? And he's like, nothing. And I found with men, it's paying attention to their tone, the look on their face, and like how they're saying it. Like, there's times where he's like, nothing. And I'm like, oh, he's thinking about something, but he doesn't want to talk about it. His nothing is his way of saying, I'm not in the headspace to talk to you about this right now. So I'm going to say nothing. That's really what he's saying. I'm going to say nothing. And then there's other times where it's like, he's got like the fucking glazed look on his face. And it's like, legitimately, I'm like, are you okay? Like, welcome back. Were you thinking about something? And he's like, no. No. I'm like, you just zoned out. Like, when I zone out, I'm thinking about something. And he's like, no.
Nothing going on. Nothing going on.
Simple.
What do you think about?
Simple creatures, Michael.
Nothing. What were you looking at? Nothing. Like, I'm literally looking at the space between my eyeballs and another surface. Like, nothing.
Well, I love that.
I don't even know how I'm breathing. I have no idea.
I'm on Idol. I'm on Idol.
Yes, and completely
You
idle.
know, like it's funny because I always love those reels that come on that talk about the like she's like, I bet you he's thinking about another girl. And then you're thinking about like something completely stupid, like something off of like what is it called? Jackass? Like some stunt that they would do off Jackass, right? Like it's just the most preposterous thing in the world. It's so far from the truth. Like you guys aren't thinking about big butts or boobs or anything. You know, half the time you're thinking about like
Rome,
stupid shit.
Rome.
Rome.
How many men
Yes,
out
we
there
had
think
this
about
conversation.
Rome? Like just randomly, you're just like, I just think like, what happened with Rome? Like, okay, if I lived in that time period, what would I have been? Would I have been a serf? Would I have been a knight? Would I have been able to fight? I don't know. Like, they just suddenly
Rome.
collapsed? Like, I mean, maybe I should look into it more. Nope, we're not going to do that. Just going to go off to my nothing box now.
That's so funny. Okay, we're gonna wrap up because we got another podcast we got to do.
Hell yeah.
So before I totally wrap up, thank you for coming on, Michael. You and I are doing this every 50 you come on. So for those of you that love Michael, you can write into me and you can say we want Michael to come on more, and I will I don't know, threaten him. Yeah, the people.
Agree
you
to
got to give the
disagree.
people what they want, Michael.
Agree to disagree. Safe word. Agree to disagree.
There's no safe words on this. You're the producer.
Oh yeah,
Cut that part out.
Safe words. It's just like just gotta put up with shit.
Edit that. I'm teasing. But yeah, no. So for every 50 episodes that I do, so the next one will be 100, then 150, whatever. You'll always come on with me, and we will celebrate those together, those milestones. So thank you, Michael, for being with me for my 50 episodes, and to all the listeners that are with us. And thank you for the ratings that I've received in my subcategory. And I really appreciate all of you. So we are sitting at, what are we sitting at? We're sitting at 131. We were at 126. We're now at 131 ranking in all of Canada right now.
Yeah,
it's bouncing right now. But still, I'm still in the top 200. And that is really amazing because as far as I'm concerned, this is a hobby. And I love anybody and everybody that wants to come and have a chat with me and just talk about your shit. Like, let's just get to it. Let's get to the nitty gritty. You want to come have a fight with me? Well, the safe word is agree to disagree. Just letting you know. Right?
She may or may not listen. May or may not listen. Well, she was listening to you. She won't listen to me. If it's agree to disagree for me, then well, too bad.
But isn't that what every guy says? It's like a typical woman. Like when that one guy comes on and he's like, ladies, listen. And then a guy cuts it and he goes, they don't do that. And I'm like, I mean, it depends who's talking. We're very selective. It's like selective hearing.
Oh, so do men. We're the same way. We have selective hearing.
I know. What did you guys call it? Wife volume?
Did I hear that? Or I heard it. I deleted it before I had a chance to respond to it.
Oh my God. So, this happens between every couple. So we'll wrap up on this one. This happens with every couple where the wife or the girlfriend or the partner, whatever. So one or the other will tell somebody something 100 times. And you and I went through this with me because I was like, you had made a comment about something that I need to be doing in regards to my business and the compensation aspects of it. And I was like, oh my God, like the other half's been telling me this for years. And you're like, maybe you should listen. And then I have to go back to him and say, oh, Michael said blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what the fuck? I've been saying this shit to you for years. And I'm like, I said that to him. And he's like, that doesn't fucking help me. No. Doesn't help me. No. You should have been listening the whole fucking time.
Yeah, don't include me in this. Be like you say you read it online.
Like you're getting me in trouble. Yeah. He comes and waves at you from time to time. You're good.
It's great.
You're good.
Yeah.
And I did say, like, I mean, you were out of all the people that like wished him happy birthday. He actually like verbally said, "Tell Michael thank you."
Hells yeah. You're welcome.
Hells yeah.
Happy birthday.
I know, and my kids love you too. Everyone's like my daughter. Michael's awesome. Don't talk shit about Michael.
You should. It keeps me in line a little bit.
Right? Yep. I know. Well, that's why I do it.
Oh, is that why?
I mean, it is what it is. But anyways, so for all of you that are still on our journey, we hope to see you at the next round of our 50. So we'll be at 100 episodes. I don't know, probably by the end of the year, maybe like beginning of next. Depends if we decide to. Well, we gotta double up some of our podcasts. Actually, now that I think about it, so yeah, we do have to double up some of them. But anyhow, thank you everybody again for everything and celebrating my 50th. episode with me, Michael. I appreciate you.
That's it.
And as always, have a great week and don't do anything crazy.